fucking scoot back a little so I guess so I don't punch the microphone.
Hey, come listen to our podcast, yeah. Please listen, it's a hitch. If you don't listen to our podcast, yeah, then you are a bitch.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Filmoscopy Podcast. On this episode, we are discussing the 2021 film The Suicide Squad. Joining me, as always, is Lance.
The Lance.
And Owen.
Hello.
So
Let's refer to everybody as like the Cody, the Owen.
This is
the
the
Lance.
Suicide Squad, so
This
it's
is
the Owen,
Yeah.
the fucking John Cena.
So since we are already kind of
With
like
a huge
poking
dick.
fun at the title, what do you all think when movies do this in a franchise? Like, there's two pet peeves of mine, and one is like when they just like years later make a sequel and it's the same exact name as an older movie in the same franchise, like Halloween,
Predators.
you know, for example.
Well, you mean to tell me Halloween that did it 3 times?
Didn't they do this same thing
Did
with
they
the
do
thing?
it three
but
times?
it's like-
Oh yeah, I
Well,
guess they
the
did
original
because
movie-
of the Rob Zombie movie.
Which we don't like to talk about, but yeah.
Zombie.
The Thing. Of course, The Thing. They use that same
the
title.
thing thing.
Yeah,
they
that-
should call it the thing.
Um,
Thing 1 and Thing 2.
Yeah, the thing is
Thing.
another weird one. It's like you're making a prequel, but also calling it The Thing.
you should probably call it the pre-thing.
Aren't they supposed to be Swiss, but they don't even speak like...
Okay. Well, yeah, I've wrestled with this in my mind because I'm not a huge, like... I'm not a detractor from the Thing prequel. The guy worked
think-
his ass off.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I think... I heard about the director working really hard, but like the special effects look like dog shit.
Yeah, the special effects are dog shit. The director worked really hard, though. And he really mapped it out to where, like, it looks exactly like the Swiss cabin. But the weird thing is, all of them are, like, they're dead. So there's no American-speaking people, which are in the movie.
Yeah.
But the 2 Swiss people are the Swedes. I think it's the
No,
Swedes.
Swedes are from Sweden.
Yeah.
Well, I
They're called
understand
Swiss if you want to...
that. I don't think they're the Swiss people because
Yeah,
Kurt
they're
Russell's character
Swiss.
calls them the Swedes. He goes, he calls them something else, but he says the Swedes, but they're not actually the
They're
Swedes.
supposed to be Swiss.
Okay, yeah.
The
So that's why he calls them the Swedes. He goes, oh, it's the Swiss.
They're called the Swisser
whatever.
Sweets.
Yeah.
But
the
he,
Swisser Sweets.
The ending of the Thing prequel is the helicopter chasing the dog
Yeah.
through the snow, and they both speak,
Yeah.
Swiss.
Swiss. Yeah.
Swiss.
Yes,
It's supposed to be
sir.
Swiss music. I don't know why I was.
They both speak Swisher Sweets to each
Yeah.
other.
But yeah, that's what I'm not a huge fan of. Just, I don't know. You have to differentiate it differently.
Yeah, especially in a case like with Suicide Squad, where the sequel literally came out 5 years after
Yeah.
the first movie, and the only differentiating factor with the title is putting "the" in front of it.
Yeah. It's really silly with how close these are, like in time.
Yeah,
You know.
I mean,
Well, it's just
I guess to an
terrible Warner
extent,
Brothers.
when you do have a situation like The Thing, which was what, like 30 years apart or something, and
Yeah.
or like Halloween, that's a little bit different.
2018 should have been called something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels a little less stupid when they're farther apart. I mean, it's still stupid. Like, stop fucking doing it, Hollywood. But it feels a little less dumb if it's been like 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, like, Halloween, like, the first one, and I understand calling the Rob Zombie one, the remake, Halloween because you're remaking it.
Rob Zombie.
But 11 years later, you're putting out the quote-unquote sequel to the original as you're ignoring all the other sequels and calling it Halloween again.
Which that's something else. I was actually thinking about Halloween. Welcome to the Halloween podcast, everyone. I was actually thinking about Halloween a couple days ago because I sat down and watched Terminator Dark Fate for the first time. And I was thinking about it, and it's like, it has nothing to do with the name, but, it's a situation where, like, John Carpenter got involved, and he's like, everything after the first movie is non-canon. Ignore it. This is the true sequel to the first film. And Terminator Dark Fate did something similar, where it was like, everything after T2 is non-canon. This is the third movie in the original run, basically.
It's just stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
canon is like whatever the fans want it to be, and I think I discussed it on the Star Wars episode that once you put a movie or a franchise, a game, music, whatever it is, once you put it out there for fans, it's no longer yours. You know what I'm saying? Like John Carpenter, James Cameron, George Lucas, all these guys, they want to sit there and oh, it's not really what I would have done. So all the hardcore fans consider it non-canon or whatever. Like, oh, that's not the real sequel, or whatever, shit like that. Dude, it's whatever the fuck you want it to be. If you like Halloween 4, which I do, you can go with that storyline. If you like Halloween H2O, which is, looking back at it, it's pretty good, but it's not that good. Michael's too small.
Every time you say Halloween H2O, it just makes me like picture Michael Myers as a mermaid.
I've got nothing to add to that. He's got me flabbergasted. But like whatever you want, like the whole Terminator thing. I haven't watched them actually. A couple months ago, I was telling Alex I bought all the Terminator movies on Blu-ray. I had that 4-movie set you had, Cody, from your father-in-law.
Yeah.
I actually found it on eBay for like pretty not cheap, but it's around $40. So I ended up buying it. I'm like, I'm gonna watch through all these movies. I've never watched them through them all, and I got through the first one, which is really good. Terrible special effects, but it's still really good. And I was going to watch the second one. I just never could find the time to do it. And Alex actually watched all the way through them. And I heard that after 4, is it Genesis? That's the 5th one?
So Genesis is the 5th one.
Okay. So Genesis, which is the 5th one, I heard, I read this somewhere that they did a really good job of trying to tie up the 4 movies in a nice bow in that movie.
Yeah.
And try to make it all make sense and lead into like a kind of another soft reboot, but they all still counted the first 4 movies.
Yeah.
And like the 6th one, James Cameron came back, and which he didn't step foot on set, but he was just like, no, we're just going to ignore those movies. Like, dude.
Yeah, which, I mean, Dark Fate has its flaws, and I will say Dark Fate is the best sequel post Terminator 2. But a lot of like the hardcore fans really despise Genesis, and I don't really mind Genesis myself. I think the idea was neat. I thought the only real thing I didn't like about it is that John Connor becomes a Terminator in adulthood, and it's like, that's kind of stupid.
Spoilers.
The
I
heck?
hadn't watched it yet. It's fine. I already knew about that part though.
But
John Connor.
But yeah, so
It's disappointing, to be honest with you, that these, I don't know how to really put it, they don't nail the sequels. Like, I don't know how, like, the stories, like, Terminator 2 is phenomenal. I love Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of like, like hit or miss. Like, I'm a big fan of the Predator movies, but I can acknowledge that after the first Predator, the quality drops off big time.
yeah.
And I don't understand why they can't fucking just nail the quality when this is one of your bigger franchises. You know, Fox owned, I think they owned Terminator.
Yeah, it's just hard if you have like, because like Predator, you can tell it came out of this very like precise creative vision of like, what if we just took like a dumb action movie and like made the big dumb action movie heroes get their asses kicked. And the thing is that you're kind of forcing it twice. And like you could still make a good story out of it, but you know you're losing that creative spark that made.
I think Terminator kind of suffers from that same problem. It's like
Yeah.
Terminator 1 was a good setup, you know, and they had a reason to make a sequel where, you know, it's like John Connor is basically the leader of the resistance in the future. Send the Terminator back before he's ever born to kill his mother. And that Terminator fails, so let's send a better version of a Terminator back to kill John Connor while he's still a child. But the problem then becomes, even though James Cameron comes in and is like, well, these movies aren't canon, blah blah blah, people have still seen those movies, so it's hard to create like a new Terminator that's actually intimidating in the same way that Arnold was, or I can't remember what the guy's name that plays the T-1000, but like,
that is fuck, I know his name.
It's something Harris, isn't it?
No, it's something Patrick.
Oh, something Patrick.
His brother is Richard Patrick. Richard Patrick, the lead singer of the band Filter.
Mhm.
You know, Hey Man, Nice Shot, and he was a guitarist for Nine Inch Nails. Damn, it's something Patrick. That's his older brother. I
But-
can't remember his name.
But yeah, and so like
I see.
you get to like, and they try to do something different, you know, with Salvation, but no one liked Salvation really. So because that was originally supposed to be a trilogy, taking place, you know, in like the war after post Judgment Day. So
Yeah. I got another question for you guys. And now, look, I am a fan of Friday the 13th and of Godzilla movies. So the continuality between the movies is very, very loose. Like, they do a quick acknowledgement of the first movie, and then it kind of takes its own little spin. Why do you think it's hard for whoever takes over a sequel to fucking make it fit a movie or even a prequel? Like going to the Alien franchise. And I haven't watched all the movies. I got to the fourth one, and I just fucking lost interest. This is a common theme with me.
Third
It's
one
just-
fucking was.
the third one,
Not very good.
the third one spit in the face of the second movie.
Yeah.
Like pretty much right off the bat. It was kind of
They killed Hicks and
Yeah,
the child.
and the child, and Hicks was killed off screen. It's like I think the kid may have been killed off screen too, and it's just like
they were
they
both. Yeah, they were
yeah,
both killed.
and it's like Ripley wakes up, and it's like, well, everyone else is dead.
But why do you think it's like hard for people to make a prequel? Like the Alien franchise, supposedly, I mean, I haven't watched it, like Prometheus and then Covenant were supposed to be like a new trilogy that was supposed to be like a prequel trilogy almost.
Yeah,
And like Alex told me, because he watched all of them, that Prometheus at the end has a similar scene that kind of leads you to the spaceship of the original Alien movie, that you see that big creature.
Yeah, the elephant or the jockey, space jockey is what they're called. So.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not exactly how the first movie was. It doesn't fit. And it's just really fucking. I don't know. It's just irritating
Yeah.
to me that they can't make a prequel that fits.
yeah, and I think some franchises are just better suited for it. It's difficult with something like Alien to be like, because the first movie, it was, well, I guess there were technically 2 aliens in that movie, maybe, if I'm remembering correctly.
What the
No,
What
the
do you
first
mean?
movie was just one.
It's
Yeah,
just
there's
It
only
was one of the face hugger.
I thought for some reason they got rid of one of them, but then they found out that another one was there. But I'm probably just confusing it with.
I think you're combining the end of like 2 and 1
combining.
with that.
yeah,
Because
that's
there's
probably
a
what I'm
queen in
doing.
1 or
Yeah.
2. I mean,
Right.
I just like you know, you have Lucas. How hard is it to make the 3 movies?
So
To make
all
the
my
to make the 3
potatoes.
movies going into the other 3 movies. They
Yeah.
keep adding stuff into it. Like they put, like I said, like when we get into the Star Wars sequel trilogy, they put so much into it they couldn't really finish it.
Yeah,
But like,
the prequel trilogy had a lot of potential. It's just I think Lucas focused on all the wrong things. Like no one gave a fuck about, you know, the Trade Federation or any of that bullshit. You know,
Yeah.
no one wanted to see that. And it's like, well, this was a movie made for children, and it's like,
He's
what
like-
child
then he, like,
is gonna give a crap about any of that? You know?
space taxes, dude. The tax fucking embargoes.
Yeah.
Of course,
I mean,
children love that
it's
shit.
just kind of like, especially when you have the creator come back. Like you can't make a movie that leads into the movie, like an actual prequel. Like everything fits nice and neat. They usually cram like a final scene in that kind of like, oh, this is what leads to the original movie. That's really cool, but it doesn't like really lead up to it. It's just really irritating to me. Like
I think
when
it's
they do the things.
I think it's better ultimately to come back and do a sequel all that time
Yes.
later, like you know John Carpenter did with Halloween. I think I actually like that movie. I know you have your issues with it, and when we do that episode, I'm sure we'll talk about all that. But
Yeah, my issues are just really like, I mean, just a spoiler alert when we get to it, but it's just like my issues with that Halloween movie is just like everybody's like, this is the greatest sequel of all time, and they literally took things from all the other sequels and put it in this movie, and everybody's acting like it's fucking original, which
Right.
I've seen everything, It's like they took shit from Part 4. They took shit from Part 5. They took shit from Halloween H2O. They took shit from the Rob Zombie movies. And they all put it in this movie. Everybody's like, man, it's really fucking original.
Rob
and now they
Zombie.
sit there and say, well, he's not supernatural. He's not going to be supernatural. If you watch the trailer to the next movie, Halloween Kills, the more he kills, the more unstoppable he becomes. So they're hinting around that he's fucking supernatural.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you fucking, like, the only thing you fucking have changed is that he's not Laurie's sister anymore.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, that makes him less scary. And I'm like, no.
I don't think it does.
Doesn't.
Oh.
No, it doesn't make him less scary if it's his sister, in my opinion.
It almost makes it scarier, the fact that he's been in prison for so long, and then he gets out, and the only thing, basically the only thing he's been thinking about that entire time is killing Laurie. Like, to me,
Yeah, that shit's really cool. I like that.
yeah, and it's awesome seeing Jamie Lee Curtis in that movie, and like the way that they portrayed her, because I know she's come back for other films in the series and everything, but the way that they portrayed her character is just like this hard ass who's like, I'm training. I've been training all this time because I know that someday he's going to come for me.
And she's the best part, like, of that movie. I just have a problem with, like, I don't know, like, you take out the part that's not his sister in the new movie. That's fine. Why does he even want to come back to Haddonfield? He's not even looking for her. He just happens to fucking come across her, and it's like, oh, let me chase her now. And it's just really fucking, like I said, when we get to it, I have a few issues with it, but again, going to like a soft reboot / sequel, that's what kind of leads into the Suicide Squad, because I'm not quite sure of where it takes place in the timeline.
Yeah, has anything changed from like?
They want to do everything they. Okay, let's go ahead and put this on the table, and Cody can verify this, or he can like disagree with me. It's fine. The decisions that they make over the years have led to them being bought by Discovery.
Yeah.
The Discovery Channel bought them because they have no money. They were going out of business because they said, hey, this will be a good thing to get people to be interested in our streaming service. Let's release all of our movies same day release. Pissing off all the directors, namely your biggest director, Christopher Nolan. Pissing off all your directors because they're not making the money back on the overhead. And it did nothing for your business. They had 50 million subscribers. Disney has over 100 million subscribers. Netflix has
What's
250
their streaming
million.
service anyway?
HBO Max. But the whole thing is like going to the directors. This all starts with obviously the Snyderverse, quote unquote, which was the DCEU, Cody. Is that what it was called? Okay, so you had Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, which these movies were quote unquote critically panned. I mean, Batman vs Superman still made almost $900 million, but was considered a quote unquote failure. And the movie is different, but they were comparing it to what came out later on, Captain America Civil War, which was like their version of Batman vs Superman. It's all pretty colors and shit.
Yeah.
And I love that movie. I'm not shitting on Marvel. But Zack Snyder was making different comic book movies than Marvel, which is a nice contrast. Because you don't want everything to be the same. Well, it came around to this, not the Suicide Squad, the original Suicide Squad, namely titled Suicide Squad.
Some kind of suicide like group, like kill yourself pact.
Yeah, pretty much. But that movie came out, and it was very mixed reviewed, but it made a lot of money. So they were like, oh, the best part about this is Harley Quinn. And that was Jared Leto was the Joker, and how that kind of fell apart. And he's a weird guy.
Is he coming back as the Joker?
I don't think so.
He's
Hey, I
coming
don't think so.
back.
I think he
think
had that one part for the Justice League movie, which is fucking great. But Warner Brothers hacked up the original Suicide Squad movie to where the director doesn't even claim it as his movie. When this movie, The Suicide Squad, came out,
Yeah.
he released the online thing saying he praised it, thought James Gunn did great. He shit on Warner Brothers for hacking up his movie, and it's not even his cut of the movie. Like, they wanted to make it look like the trailer. If you go back and watch the movie, it's cut really weird.
Yeah, I mean, you can go back and watch the original trailer and see that there are stark differences between that trailer and the final film. And I think the reason Warner Brothers stepped in and heavily changed the first Suicide Squad because Harley Quinn had tested so well with Well, it was two things. Harley Quinn had tested well with like test audiences or whatever, so they wanted the film to focus more on her and less on things like the Joker, who had a much bigger role in that film originally, and they also were reacting to complaints from so-called fans who bitched and moaned about how dark Batman versus Superman was. Like, oh, we hate how dark this is, blah, 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 blah.
Like visually.
Well, no, not visually,
In
like in
tone.
tone.
I think both.
But
Because the movie is in the dark a lot, but
so-
visually in tone. And
yeah, so like they were reacting to that, which is, it kind of is a bummer. And in a way, I do wish that in some, perfect world that David Ayer would be able to like step in and be like, okay, this is my cut of the movie, sort of like Snyder did, but there's not as much of demand for it. Because it wasn't a situation where like Warner Brothers just flat out replaced the director. So I don't think they'll ever give him the opportunity to do
and the thing
that.
is though, like with the Snyder cut and all that stuff, which leads into this movie. Well, it leads from the original Suicide Squad. All the actors of Justice League were like released to the Snyder cut. None of the actors of Suicide Squad have spoken up. Like, they don't even give a shit.
Will Smith doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he was supposed to be part of this. He's like, nah, I'm good. I ain't gonna do this. I have scheduling thing. I'm like, dude, let's be quite honest.
He's like, look, I love my son.
No
okay?
movies are going to compete with comic book movies.
Yeah, so that actually brings me up to an interesting fact about this new movie. Now that you brought up Will Smith, Idris Elba was actually originally brought in because they wanted him to replace Will Smith as Deadshot. And
You can't replace a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
well, here's the thing. So
This
they-
is a story.
they decided that instead they were going to put Idris Elba in a new role because they wanted to leave the door open in case Will Smith ever did want to come back and play Deadshot. But the reason that he didn't want to play Deadshot in this movie is because of a scheduling conflict. He was filming something else.
Too busy watching his wife get fucked.
Damn.
He's like, oh, that's hot.
Nut fired.
But the whole thing is the studio hacked this movie, the original Suicide Squad, up, but then let the blame fall on the director.
Yeah.
Following Justice League, where Snyder, they already had disagreements with it. And he even said in the interview promoting his Snyder cut of Justice League that Warner Brothers hated his Batman versus Superman and wanted him to change a bunch of shit. And he was like, no, this is my movie. And Christopher Nolan put him in charge of these movies because they wanted Nolan to be like the quote unquote, I guess, their Feige, Kevin Feige, over the DCEU, and he's like, I'm a filmmaker, I don't care. Here's Zack Snyder.
I have to go make movies that no one understands.
Yeah, he does that a lot. But the thing is, Justice League comes out, and it's critically panned, and you can definitely tell watching it. It's directed by two different fucking people.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and it looks like shit.
You can tell it is a Frankenstein of a movie. I mean, even like some of the shots are like they didn't even do like color correction properly to match the tones. Like Joss Whedon's scenes are very clearly like bright and colorful compared to like some of the original scenes that Snyder shot, which are very muted in their colors. And
Yes.
it's terrible. And it is great that Snyder was able to go back and finish and even add on to what he was originally going to do for Justice League.
And the thing is about the Justice League movie, I think when me and Cody discussed it, because we've since 2017, since the movie came out, I've talked about it, that if it's either Zack Snyder or if it's all Joss Whedon. I know Joss Whedon's went through the whole cancel culture thing, and I don't really care about him. But I'm just saying, like, give one of them the fucking movie and let it happen.
Well,
this is fucking terrible.
Here's what I think Warner Brothers' plan was. I think they wanted to bring Whedon in to replace Snyder because Whedon's name is attached to the Avengers. At least the first.
Well, yeah, but Snyder brought him in, though. It wasn't them.
Okay, I didn't realize that Snyder brought him in. I mean,
yeah, I looked that up because I thought the same thing too. I'm like, that's kind of fucked up. No, I think his daughter committed suicide,
right, and
he had to leave production for that. But with the whole thing, of course, you've had other things be successful of the DCEU, like Wonder Woman has blown up. Well, the first one, Aquaman, fucking took off and did more fucking bonkers business than anybody ever thought it would. And then you had Shazam, which is a fucking phenomenal little movie. I love that movie.
Shazam.
And then we didn't have anything else, but like I guess the Harley Quinn movie and the Wonder Woman 84. I
Yeah.
have no interest for Harley Quinn.
So the DCEU as a whole, as it stands right now, it starts with Man of Steel, then it's Batman versus Superman. Is it Suicide Squad after that, and then Wonder Woman?
It came out in 2016 as well.
Yeah, and then Wonder Woman, and then Justice League. And then you got Aquaman, Shazam, The Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman 84.
Well, I think it's Harley Quinn and then Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, you're
84,
right.
And then,
Harley Quinn,
and then this movie.
yeah, the official title, which they changed while it was in theaters, because they felt like it wasn't doing as well as they wanted it to because of the name. The original name of that Birds of Prey movie is The Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. And
It's a long ass name.
yeah, and then they changed it while it was in theaters to just The Birds of Prey : Harley Quinn.
Which is and the thing is, it's Warner Brothers. They're the ones that are just, they can't get out of their own fucking way
Yeah.
with this stuff. And like I said, Harley Quinn, I know a lot of people like the character. I don't think she's a strong enough character to make her the central character of a fucking movie.
I think
Like this part right here,
she could be, but I
she's
don't.
not interesting to me at all like that. And if she is to everybody else, then fuck you, whatever, I don't care.
I actually really enjoy Harley Quinn, and I went back after I watched this movie. I went back and I watched the first Suicide Squad, which it's funny watching them pretty close together like that, because in the first Suicide Squad, her character really is, she's just playing like the crazy clown like she typically is in like the cartoon where she was introduced, and she's really just like all about her relationship with Joker. And then in Birds of Prey, where the movie starts off with, her and Joker breaking up, that's when you start to see her develop into the Harley Quinn you see in the new Suicide Squad movie. And it really is a nice little, like, it is good character development for her. And the only thing I did notice watching this movie, and it's just such a nitpicky thing, and it's probably for the best, but she had a tattoo on her jawline that said "Rotten" in the Suicide Squad, and it was there in Birds of Prey. And James Gunn and Margot Robbie both hated that tattoo, so they decided they just weren't going to do it for this movie.
I didn't really much like notice that tattoo, but I saw what they were talking about. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it's not that big of a change. I think I'd rather have, just because I know it's not going to happen, I would like to have had a movie with her trying to get away from, like, Jared Leto's Joker. Like, actually have him in. That's what, I'm like whole disappointed with the whole thing, because Harley Quinn's great with Joker. Like in the cartoon, like I'm rewatching the Batman animated series, and I gave Owen my DVD copies because it's on HBO Max for me. But she's awesome, and then when she gets in tizzies with Joker, that's like they're feeding off of each other.
Yeah,
like to be quite honest with you, Joker by himself, the more I think about it, is not my favorite.
Joker,
I know we watched the Joker movie and we liked it, but if you go back, I'm gonna rewatch it again eventually. But it has it's only like a 55% Rotten Tomatoes.
The Joker movie?
Yeah, it was.
Isn't that because like a bunch of people like mass, like fucking bombed it because they were
you're
like
starting to sound like Last Jedi fans.
They were like, "Oh, incels are gonna love this movie" or some shit like that.
I think there's a weird fear between. Or well, not fear, but I think critics get like really butthurt when movies are like ultra violent. Like they criticize Bruce Willis did a remake of Death Wish, which are violent movies. If you go back and rewatch all those old movies, they're really fucking violent. But he's a vigilante. In this movie, he's going around killing all these bad guys. They're like, how could they criticize? How could you put out this movie with all the gun violence going on around the fucking world? I'm like, okay. This is where the fucking people have to fucking realize. Movies do not create killers. Yeah. Killers are already fucking there. Okay? Yeah. It's the weird neighbor that lives across the hall in your apartment complex. It's your fucking kid that likes to cut his fucking arm that you're like, oh, Johnny's just having his issues that he's going to grow through.
It's
and
the,
all this
it's
other
the
shit,
man
these weird
standing outside
fuckers.
of Owen's window right now, beating it off.
Yeah,
Well,
me.
that's me, but thanks a lot, Cody, for fucking busting me out on that. But it's that kind of thing. It's
I
like,
let
look,
him in sometimes, so like I leave the window open.
he's like, go ahead and shout my name too.
I don't want
But
to see
it's-
you. I just want to see the you splurge through the window.
I just want to see the hot nut, bitch. Give me that nut.
But it's just, I just have a problem when like critics get like they're like all moral and judgmenting a fucking movie. It's a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Okay, first and foremost, movies don't create. I've watched every Friday the 13th, starting when I was like fucking 10 years old. I've played Mortal Kombat.
So
since
that's what's happened to you.
Yeah, I've played Mortal Kombat since I was 5 years old. I've watched a lot of violent shit. I've never once sat there and thought, I'm going to go pick up a machete and go kill somebody, or I'm going to try to rip out somebody's heart, or anything in wrestling. Like, you sit there and pretend to do wrestling stuff. I've never actually wanted to pick up a steel chair and smack somebody over the fucking head with it, and all this other stuff. I understand that there are limits. It's the other people out there that, they have warning signs. You're like, you should probably watch that motherfucker right there, that are the ones that are going on killing people.
The film is directed by James Gunn, who, as a lot of people know, and the first time I ever really heard his name, was the director of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So, one may wonder, how did it come about that he also went to work for DC?
So that's why this feels like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I told you that.
I didn't know it was directed by James Gunn.
Yeah, directed and
Oh, I
written by
told you.
James Gunn, which the Guardians of the Galaxy
Don't
movies
say-
and this movie are both directed and written by James Gunn. So what had happened is after Guardians 2 released, some people online for some reason took umbrage with something that James Gunn had said. I think
No, it was
mostly,
a picture he posted.
Well, the thing that set people off was the fact that he was like pro-Democrat on Twitter. So a lot of
He
people started
said-
digging into his past and saw that like 10 years prior, he had posted something on Twitter and it was a joke. It was like it was an insensitive joke. I can't remember the context of it exactly, but it was something that he had long apologized for. He had made the joke when he was like in his early 20s, and Disney had hired him knowing full well that this was something that had happened. But because this new group of people decided they were going to get mad about it, Disney was like, well, you're off Guardians 3. We don't want to work with you anymore. And Warner
But
Brothers...
Guardians 3 wasn't coming out for a while anyway.
Right, but still they were supposed to make it, and the sooner than they are, because they are making it now. They did bring him back after he had signed on to do the Suicide Squad, which I like to imagine that conversation took place where it's like Disney's like, come on, James, just leave them and come make Guardians 3, and he's probably like, you are going to have to wait now because you fucked up.
I'm pretty sure Disney was like, here, we're going to have to let you go for the time being. I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige was like in his corner the whole time. It wasn't him firing him from Marvel. It was Disney firing him.
No, yeah, I understand that. It was
And
Disney's
the thing
doing.
is, though, everybody at Disney, or at least Kevin Feige and his Marvel team, sent him like a big cake saying congratulations on the start of production of the Suicide Squad. He tweeted a picture of it.
Yeah.
So they were totally fine with it. They were
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
"Cool, I'm so
it's
happy for
definitely
you."
Disney, and that's what I'm saying. It's like it's Disney's the Disney.
They're virtual signaling,
Yeah,
Disney,
so-
they're a wonderful corporation that Cody supports with all of his money that Stephanie spends.
Hell yeah. Mickey Mouse.
Oh, hey there, James. You're gonna have to leave.
Oh,
Call you
hey
back in a
there.
few years.
Hey, Joe.
Well, I guess you're canceled, huh?
Oh yeah, I guess you're canceled.
Pack your fucking bags,
But-
asshole.
But Warner Brothers fucking jumped on like, hey, come work for us. We'll give you everything.
Well, please, we'll
Yeah,
suck your cock.
So one of the things that James Gunn has actually said is that Warner Brothers didn't interfere at all with the filming of this film and the writing of it. They made a few notes that he made some alterations, but they didn't like step in and be like, "You cannot do this."
Which is, why do you think that is, Cody? Is it because that he come from Marvel and they're like, oh, he's so successful, let's
I
suck his
think-
nuts?
I don't think it's necessarily that he came from Marvel, but he did
You
make
know it is.
he did make two of the better Marvel movies.
Yeah, but you know it is.
Guardians
dude.
of the
I mean,
fucking
seriously,
galaxy.
like these other.
Well, Joss
movies-
Whedon also came from Marvel, but I mean, I guess that was just
But he also got canceled because he's verbally abusive to women on set, so they couldn't go back to that. And then the
Yeah.
movie that they put on there, Justice League, was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
So it's
So,
but I'm just saying, like with the James Gunn thing, it has to be that. Like they didn't let David Ayer have like his movie.
So, regardless of the reason, he was left pretty much alone to make this film. He said that he did want to honor the original Suicide Squad creators' vision for Suicide Squad, which was to bring in a lot of like no-name, not even B-list, but like D-list villains that are almost tragic in a way, because it's like they're so bad at being villains that it's pathetic, really. Although there are a few villains in there that are, capable, and we'll
King
talk
Shark,
about those later. Yeah,
Polka
like
Dot Man.
King Shark. Polka Dot Man was a huge surprise, but we'll get there. So before we get to the cast and stuff, so the budget for this film was $185 million. As of right now, I'm seeing that the box office has been $121.3 million. The streaming service, I'm sure, heard it.
Oh, it has, dude. I know Cody is very much like, he doesn't care about like corporations, and I get it, about making the money. And he's like, whatever's good for the customer. This is what has put Warner Brothers out of business, though.
Yeah,
Because no one's paying to go see these movies.
I just watched it for free.
He watched it for free using my girlfriend's streaming service.
Use it.
And
All right.
I'm using her streaming service to watch it. So that's 3 viewings of the movie that only paid $14 or $9.99 for.
Now, I do think HBO, the way that they plan on doing it next year, because they're not doing the same day as theaters thing starting at the beginning of the year. They're doing like they made some kind of deal with Regal. And so what's going to happen, I think the movies are going to be in theaters for 30 or 45 days exclusively, and then they'll be added to HBO Max. So for me, that still kind of works out, because I have watched several movies like that came out in theaters on HBO Max that I would not have gone to see in theaters. I would have gone to see Suicide Squad in theaters if it would have been a theater only release, but it's just more convenient to watch it on the streaming service that I'm already paying for.
But the thing is, you're not paying extra for the movie. With Disney, if a new Disney movie came out, Cody, Stephanie would make you pay for it.
Well, no,
$30 to watch it.
we do. I mean, because Disney's doing that thing this year where the movies come out in theaters, but the same day they come out on Disney Plus, but you have to pay $30 to watch it, and we never do that because it's cheaper for us just to go to the theater to watch them. $30 is ridiculous to rent a movie.
The thing is, you're still paying money to go support Disney,
right?
And
I'm
not getting the money.
I understand that. And next year,
and I'm just saying it from a perspective of when you start losing the competition of movies, you start losing the variety. When the WWE ran, WCW out of business and bought them, and they were the only game in town, the wrestling has sucked for the last 22. But the thing is, if you like Fox going out of business and Disney bought them, that's another studio that's gone. A lot of people lost their jobs, but different varieties of movies will not be made now.
Yeah,
like Predator is now owned by G-rated Disney,
and so
all
Alien.
the X-Men movies, which are different from Marvel, and they may not be better. They're not better than Marvel, but they're different at least. So it's a different variety. That's gone. So if Warner Brothers goes out of business and Disney controls that, you have Disney, and everything's gonna look like fucking
Disney
Marvel.
monopolizes the entertainment industry.
I mean, when it comes down to that, we'll talk about this briefly and then bounce back to the movie. But when it comes down to the whole like Disney buying Fox, I know a lot of people look at that and be like, they're like, well, yes, now Disney can make Fantastic Four and they can make X-Men, which they are doing. They've announced Fantastic Four. They've said they're making an X-Men movie called The Mutants, and we'll see what happens with that. They've claimed that they're going to do another Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds in it.
Oh yeah, he's definitely going to do it.
Which would work because I saw the thing like with him and what's that character's name from Thor? Korg. Yeah, doing like the review of the trailer for Free Guy or whatever.
Yeah, he definitely is going to like.
Have you guys watched Free Guy?
No, it looks funny.
I had no idea what the fuck it was. I was like, what is this movie the fuck about?
Yeah, I mean it does look funny, but
it looks okayly kind of funny.
Okayly? Is that a word?
I guess.
Okayly.
It looks okayly funny.
I actually don't know what the next movie I'll go to the theaters and see. It's probably going to be Venom.
I'll go to the porn theater and jack my cock.
All right, Pee Wee Herman, calm down.
But
It's going to be Venom and Halloween movie when they come. They both come out in October.
They come.
oh yeah, I
Unless
know.
they fucking get pushed back even more.
Oh, I know. I'm so sick of that. Like Venom it was supposed to come out like a year ago. What the fuck is taking so long now? Like, why are they pushing it back?
Because Sony has said that if they're not going to make money off of it, they're not going to release it because they don't have a streaming service to make money off of it. And they're like, well, we're going to put this out. And I understand that. They even said when the HBO Max thing happened, like same day release, and all the directors are getting pissed off at Christopher Nolan. Sony was like, hey, come work for us. We're not going to do that. You'll get paid. You'll make your money and all this other shit. So, I mean, it's a bargaining tool. And Disney, the thing is about Disney is they already have double the amount of subscribers than HBO Max, which I get it because it's fucking Disney. It's not like Warner Brothers has like a bunch of merchandise going around. Disney's making money off all your Mickey Mouse purchases, your
Goofy movie purchases,
your Goofy movie, and there's a lot of people that will sit there and buy the Disney movie on the streaming service, and pay the money for it. So they're making $30 from that household.
Those people are like the dumbest fucking people. Like, I just mean like the people that will like have brand loyalty to like corporations and shit. Like,
I mean, and it comes in all forms. I mean, there's a lot of people like that. Like,
it's wrestling, it's sports. Like I said, it's going to this
video
whole
games. It's everything.
Xbox, PlayStation.
How many times how many times do you see online like people just like arguing with each other without any kind of real grounds for it, except I like this and you like that, like
my mom bought me this and she wouldn't buy me that, so therefore I have to have brand loyalty to this.
Yeah, like this is better than that simply because I don't have that. It's dumb, but
even mom bought you this and I love your mom and
yeah, but just even for people that are like, dude, Disney needs to buy everything, like why? Fuck you.
Like you lose. People lose their chances to like have an opportunity in the field because like WWE when they bought it, like a lot of people lost their jobs in wrestling and the playing field completely flattened out. And now you have like the independents have actually blown up a little bit over the last couple of years, but you have AEW, which is on TNT, which is a fucking it's a Warner property, which is kind of funny, but AEW, which is fucking huge, and they're drawing. Okay, they're drawing like 1 million viewers and stuff like that. So it's like, and then people are getting mad. They're like, "Oh, it sucks compared to WWE and shit like that." I'm like, dude, we just need fucking variety. If you don't like it, that's fine. Like going back to this, like, and Warner Brothers wants
competition breeds success.
Yes, you push it. And the thing is, the Warner Brothers wants James Gunn to do a Justice League movie. Fuck no. This movie was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
There's nothing memorable about this fucking movie.
I don't think that he would do it just because I don't think he would have as much freedom as he would like with a Justice League movie.
Here's the thing is, Cody, he says he's doing the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but from that point on, he's working on multiple Warner projects. And he's doing the Peacemaker series. He's going strictly Warner because he loves it, and they fucking love him, even though they're not going to be making the money that his movies made at Marvel because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But I don't want his Justice League because this movie it's a good movie, it's a fun movie, and I do recommend it for one watch. But it is Guardians of the Galaxy with the word fuck a lot and a lot of blood. That's all it is.
You don't want another like wisecracking like fucking.
Well, it's the same. I mean, his movies. If you compare the three movies, he doesn't have much of a different style. He's not like how do I put this? He is not a diverse filmmaker from what I've seen in these movies.
I will say that I agree with you that I do not want James Gunn to do a Justice League because I don't think that his style of writing and filmmaking fits the tone of what Justice League should be.
Because it's going to make it look like Avengers.
Right, but I think this movie is fantastic. And I think that instead of trying to force what David Ayer was trying to do with his Suicide Squad, which was make it more like tragic and dour
and sour. Sorry.
Salty.
But and they try to like force it into this frame of like being like this fun, silly type of movie. James Gunn fits the bill for something like that. Like he can actually make it, and he made it work. Like just for me personally, like James Gunn's name being attached to this gave me a lot of high hopes for this, and they were met. And
Like Cody was like, I met. Like he was about to say something else, but he
Yeah.
said,
Well,
met.
I was about to say, but I try to cut it off. And, if anyone had any doubt, like any bad feelings about the first Suicide Squad, I think that they could come into this movie and have a great time with it. I think this movie is easily the best movie in the DC extended universe so
Really?
far.
No.
Yeah.
No.
What do you think?
Fuck no.
Fuck no, dude. What
I
do
love
you?
Cody. I've known him for over 10 years, but fuck no. His opinion is fucking garbage.
There's some tension on the podcast.
It's a fun movie, but it's nothing. I don't
What's
even
the
fucking
best?
remember anything
What's the
about it.
best one then?
Fucking, he's not going to agree with me. My personal favorites are Man of Steel and Shazam.
Look, I am impartial.
Shazam for me is one of my top 3 for sure, but Man of Steel is not. I mean, it's
You don't like Henry
it's
Cavill's
definitely
beautiful face, Cody.
I liked.
Man of Steel is definitely bottom half for me.
Okay, real quick, before we get back into this movie, Cody, why do you hate Henry Cavill? Is it because he's beautiful?
Henry
It's because his
Cavill.
hairline is receding, and I'm jealous of it. No,
You're jealous
Hey,
of
Cody,
this
hey,
or sitting
hey,
here
Cody.
going, you're like, no.
Hey,
I
man,
don't-
you have fabulous hair, but you never know. One day something could happen. You could lose it all
Yeah,
without
you could-
having receding hairline.
You can have a
so
fucking freak katana accident,
just
scalp
because your
yourself.
wife loves Henry Cavill. I don't know why I keep saying
Cavill.
Cavill. I'm gonna start saying it's my bit.
Henry
Henry
Cavill, you better chill.
He's just a beautiful man, and he deserves to have hair plugs. You
I
need to
don't-
quit
I
being
don't-
mean about him.
I don't have any problem really with Henry Cavill being Superman.
You've hated on him from the word fucking
Hey,
go.
it's Cavill.
I hated on him in the beginning, but I came around to it. It's just I don't think
can't.
that Man of Steel is one of like the top 50% of the DCEU. I just don't.
It's better than Wonder Woman 84.
It is better
It's
than
better
Wonder
than
Woman
Justice
84.
League.
It's better than
Like-
the original version of the Justice League that came out.
Yeah,
yes.
well, we'll just say Snyder cut for that.
right.
All
It's
of them.
better than Batman vs Superman.
No,
Yes, it is, because Batman vs Superman, you have
Wasn't-
to watch all 3 hours of it, and they really should have made it just a Batman movie.
Wasn't Batman versus Superman just like uber shitty though?
No. Look, me and Cody will fight you on that.
All
Me and
right.
Cody agree on Batman vs Superman being a very good movie. That's in my top 4, I would have to
Yeah.
say. I don't know how I listed them. Okay, Man of Steel is better than Suicide Squad.
yes,
Man of Steel is automatically better than Harley Quinn.
no. Birds of
Oh,
Prey
nice.
is better than Man of Steel.
I
Birds
highly
of
doubt
prey. It's about an eagle.
Man of Steel. Fucking my girlfriend, who doesn't watch comic book movies,
My wife.
loves Man of Steel. She actually liked it. She liked it better than all the movies I've showed her.
Yeah,
Well,
but that's your wife.
Stephanie also likes Man of Steel a lot, but that's
Yeah,
she
but
likes
that's your
staring
wife.
at Henry Cavill.
No, I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say my girlfriend's name because nobody else is listening that doesn't know. But Savannah watched it and she actually enjoyed it. I let her watch Batman vs Superman, and she got into it. But she said it's not as good as Man of Steel, and I made her watch all 4 hours of the Snyder cut, and she liked it better than Batman vs Superman, but not as much as Man of Steel. Man of Steel has competition with Aquaman and Shazam to me. And I love like Batman vs Superman, but it's not as good as Man of Steel because it's focused on one character,
Bam ham.
and it has like a good cast in that movie, and I think it's a wonderful Superman movie.
I mean,
And
we
it's like-
obviously have
We're
diff-
going to disagree on it. But
I
I'm
mean,
just
yeah,
gonna
we
say this
obviously
movie is not.
disagree.
This movie.
But I think with the next 2 movies that are coming out in the DCEU, it's going to push Man of Steel down even further.
What's the other 2 movies coming out?
The next 2 coming out are Black Adam and The Flash.
Yeah, we'll see how the Flash is. Ezra Miller is kind of annoying as Flash.
He can be, yeah.
No, I watched I like him as Flash. I watched him in Justice League or Snyder Cut. I watched both of them. And I think he's funny, but he tries too hard to be funny. He's not naturally funny like Spider-Man is in the MCU.
Right.
And I'm not comparing it because I'm not a huge fan of the MCU Spider-Man.
Hey, Spider-Man, do a
yeah.
But that's
backflip.
the equivalent.
Toby Maguire's pretty fucking dope, yeah.
The if you want
The Bully
if-
Maguire.
Bully Maguire
Bully
is pretty
Maguire,
dope.
yeah. If you want the best like just comedic Spider-Man or witty Spider-Man is Andrew Garfield, but
Yeah, and I thought
most
he was
people
really
won't.
good as Spider-Man.
I didn't
Yeah.
like that Spider-Man.
I liked him. I liked that he was sort of like he was a nerd, but he was also kind of cool, and like he actually had wit to him. Whereas Tobey Maguire, I mean, there was some wittiness, but it wasn't really.
It's
what you
weird.
want.
It's a weird when he's witty because it's like it feels out of character because he's such a dork.
Who, Tobey Maguire?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Andrew Garfield, he's like kind of a cool kid, so it's like, oh, this
kinda
makes
fucking sexy, dude. You seen him?
Hopefully, we'll see him again later this year in Spider-Man:
Yeah.
No Way Home.
Hopefully, we'll
that's
see
another
Bully
movie we'll see.
Maguire.
But yeah, Man of Steel is a good movie. I would rather watch that over this movie.
As somebody who's like really hasn't watched any DC movies,
I've tried to convince you to watch these movies.
this one is okay. I don't think it like breaks quality over like any of the Marvel movies though. Like I would rather watch Guardians of the fucking Galaxy.
I mean,
Did you
Guardians.
say Alexi?
No, I said Guardians of the motherfucking Galaxy.
So I think your G went silent. You said Alex.
yeah, you were like Alexi.
I'm like, Alex is gonna like that. Alex is gonna feel that in his ears. Like, what
Yeah,
is it?
it's for
know?
you.
I mean, and again,
This
we
is
all,
a Marvel movie, Cody, in DC.
right, and I think that's fine for this
No,
this
it's not
movie.
fine, 'cause
It's
it's
fine.
supposed to be different.
It's fine for this movie because of what it is, but I'm not saying that it would be fine if it was like James Gunn's Justice League or James Gunn's Batman or whatever. Like it just wouldn't work that way. But because it's Suicide Squad, it works. The only other thing that I think that he could pull off would probably be like the God, what the hell are they called? It's like basically it's the alternate version of the Justice League that has like Bizarro and instead of Superman.
Oh, the Legion of Doom.
Is that what it is? The Legion of
Yeah.
Doom?
That's
Okay.
where the wrestling. That's where the Road Warriors got the name from.
It's kind of got like this weird like goofiness to that group too. But if it's not something like that, then no, it wouldn't work because DC is
James
just
Gunn
inherently-
directs.
DC is just. I think DC needs a darker tone than Marvel does.
It needs a different tone.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
for, I just want to see what time it was. Just for like argument's sake, it needs different. It needs to be different from Marvel. Marvel fans want to shit on the DC movie because they're too dark.
They need to stop trying. They don't need to try to be Marvel.
They don't.
Well,
and the thing
Marvel
was bringing
fans-
James Gunn along. Like Cody says, it's fine for this movie, and that is fine. But what pisses me off about this movie, this thing's got like a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes.
It really
If you-
does?
Yes.
Yeah.
I really don't think it was
It's-
that good. though.
I agree with you.
It was
But
okay.
it's a fun movie, and you can sit there and put it on something to watch, and it goes by quick. That's fine.
Yeah.
But
Like, I mean, I don't hate this movie.
They-
Wasn't offensive. I didn't hate it.
they allowed James Gunn to have full control of this movie because he was successful at Marvel. They sit there and treated David Ayers like he was a fourth-class citizen as a director and completely, abolished
They
his movie.
destroyed. They destroyed.
They destroyed his
David
movie,
Ayers'
and then they
vision,
sit there
yeah.
and fucking shit on everything that Zack Snyder did, only for
How?
it to blow up in his face.
And-
They
and-
were
and-
doing something different.
Yeah, well, and like as well as the first Suicide Squad, I remember there being interviews like before the movie came out, and like Jared Leto going on record like complaining. He's like, my favorite parts of the movie were all cut. And he said like
Those are my parts.
Yeah. Well,
that's
he said, like,
him
over-
going.
over
It's all
30
parts of
minutes.
me in it. Damn it.
He said over like 30 minutes were cut that had the Joker in it, and
I'm
people
the
were like,
Joker, baby.
people were like, oh, he's lying. There's no way. But then David Ayer comes out years later and he's like, yeah, they basically just destroyed what I tried to do with it because they wanted to. They were trying to match because like you all talk about Marvel fans want this bright, colorful, happy-go-lucky type setting, and that's fine for Marvel, although it doesn't always work with every character they have. But
Punisher.
yeah, like Punisher.
Didn't they make
They made a Punisher series on Netflix as well as.
Isn't the
Daredevil.
tone all fucked up for the Punisher too? Like,
What do
isn't
you
it
mean?
weird?
No,
Like,
it's
is it?
dark. Like
Oh,
that
okay.
and Daredevil are actually really dark, and
Punisher.
I think it's probably why they're like, yeah, you can just put that stuff on Netflix because we can't make a bright, colorful, happy movie with
The
that.
Punisher
Is-
goes
is
to
Daredevil
Iraq.
dark because he's blind.
Never knew him as a
But,
black man.
I think the Suicide Squad changes, the David Ayer movie, were because there was a lot of people who have been going to the movies for almost 10 years, seeing all these Marvel movies in the MCU, and they're like, well, this isn't what I want, because it's not Marvel. And Warner Brothers changed that. I'm just saying that
Warner Brothers my point was is Warner Bros. Let James Gunn have this movie.
Right.
And if you like this movie, that's perfectly fine. I like it. I don't love it, and it's not memorable to me. I may not ever watch it again. I may watch it a few more times. It just depends on what mood I'm in. But they let him have full control of this movie. But they sat there and wanted to meddle in everything that Zack Snyder, David Ayer were trying to do with their movies. But ultimately, there's nobody in charge of Warner Brothers making these movies that are comic book fans. Like Kevin Feige's in charge of Marvel.
Right. Yeah,
He's the one that's sitting there making it, that has this fucking vision for these movies.
I think what they should have done, and this is the last I want to say of it, because this is getting a little bit long in the tooth just about this Warner Brothers stuff, but what they should have done, instead of Christopher Nolan being the one trying, like they wanted to run the show, they should have just made Zack Snyder the guy. Like, have him direct his movies leading up to Justice League. Give a couple more movies to build up to Justice League, because I think that was a big problem too. Is like they kind of rushed into it.
Yeah, they wanted to catch up to Marvel.
Yeah, they had 4 movies before Justice League, but one of them was Suicide Squad, and besides the few cameos from Batman, didn't really have anything to do with the Justice League itself. And, you know, they should have just given it to Zack Snyder, been like, you know, you work up to the Justice League, and then we want you to step back and just be the guy. Be the guy, like...
Stand back. Like, there's a hurricane.
You know, like the Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige doesn't direct movies. He just kind of like, all right, we need to make sure all this stuff fits together, but, you know...
Yeah. But he runs the show, though. Like, we talked about with Star Wars.
Right.
Kathleen Kennedy, they're like, well, let's just put these movies out. I'm going to let every director have their own fucking voice. That's fine. You got to have a fucking... Especially when we're going to make connected movies, you got to have a fucking vision.
Have some kind of plan with your trilogy.
And Warner Brothers is like, we just got to make it like Marvel. Warner Brothers had a fucking wonderful head start with the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
And they fucking squandered that shit.
It's so weird that they're trying to chase Marvel, too, because Marvel already has its
Marvel was
audience.
chasing them at one point.
Yeah. There's no way you're going to be able to cash in on Marvel's audience.
Right. And now we have...
people arguing that the Captain America trilogy is better than the Dark Knight trilogy. These are people that will vote in the next couple of years.
Captain Penis.
Those are just diehard Marvel fans that think that everything DC does is shit. There's no way in hell that anyone in their right mind can consider... any 3 movies. The Dark Knight trilogy is an amazing trilogy. Yeah, I mean, there are some low points, you know, like I think...
the first half of the first movie, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, it's very slow, but Captain America trilogy, like, I just do not like the second movie in Captain America.
What's the second movie?
The Winter Soldier.
Cody,
what's it about again?
Those movies? We can discuss this.
We'll get to that someday, some other day.
Hey, Cody, let me ask you something.
I'm
okay?
sorry,
Let's be quiet. How long have we been friends?
It's been about 11 years now.
Okay. Would you say we've been, like, really good friends? Like, I'm in your top 3 at least.
Top 20.
Okay, so I'm in the top 3 of friends. We've known each other for 11 years. Cody, if I was brainwashed by Russian spies and I killed a bunch of people underneath a Russian spell, would you defend me like Captain America defended Bucky?
I'd join in.
It depends on it depends on the context.
No, Cody. What has been your answer for the last
The answer is no.
5 years?
The answer is no, because Iron Man literally watched a video of Bucky brutally murdering his parents. So it's like, how can you I know he was brainwashed, and he's been brainwashed like what, twice? It's like, come on now. It's just time to put him down.
Yeah, but the thing is though, I've asked Alex this question, and you know, it's not been a competition. Alex has probably been my closest friend for like to the last 11 years, and Cody's probably at number 2, but 1B maybe. Because of those 2 friends.
We're going to rank you.
I'm just saying, like, Alex is the one
Cody's
Alex is the one I worked with, like, every day.
I would make Cody 1, but he's kind of like, you know.
The thing is, like, well, and it's not one of those, it's like Alex and me went through breakups at the same time. I worked with him, like, 4 days a week at my store. I saw Cody when we, like, started hanging out, like, once every 2 weeks and then once every week when we could. And then he moved away. And, like, we still talk every day. Obviously, I'm doing a podcast with Cody.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that I just had like more in common with Alex at the time, and me and Cody were just like, our common ground was wrestling and Limp Bizkit.
It's not a biscuit.
which is kind of sad. But I've asked Alex this question, like Alex, multiple times in text messages. If I was a brainwashed Russian spy and I accidentally killed a bunch of people not underneath my control, would you defend me like Captain America did? And he goes, yes. I'm like, you are more than Cody right now.
We've talked about the director. We talked about the budget and the box office, which took us on a long, winding road there. The runtime for the movie is 132 minutes.
2 hours and 12 minutes for the lay folks out there.
Yeah, 2 hours and 12 minutes, which seems long, but when you watch it, it actually goes by pretty quick. It was released on August 5th, 2021. So let's go into the cast, because I think that's the best way to discuss this film. We've already kind of discussed Harley Quinn, and I want to do this first. Let's talk about the A team, or Team 1, or whatever, which is the team that you're first introduced to in the movie.
Who plays the fucking Weasel?
That's actually
Sean
James
Gunn.
Gunn's son.
That's his brother.
The Weasel looks
his
fucking
brother.
disgusting.
I actually felt bad for the Weasel.
I
found out he's a child
loved
killer.
Weasel.
Yeah.
I thought he was so funny. And when they're on the chopper and like they're like, what the hell? What the fuck is this thing? And it looks like some kind of dog. It's like, what kind of dog do you think this is?
Australian something.
Yeah, Australian something. It's like, does that look like an Australian to you? And it's like, what if maybe he's a werewolf? And like Pete Davidson starts freaking out. Oh my god, you shot me next to a fucking werewolf.
Fucking Rick Flag, when the weasel jumps in the water and he can't swim, he goes, did anybody check to see if the fucking weasel could fucking swim?
Oh god, everyone at the,
I was confused by that.
Everyone
that
at
was
the
like a detour team.
Yeah. So it does like kind of catch you off guard, and I kind of figured that a lot of characters were going to die in this movie, because in interviews leading up, it's like James Gunn had said that, you know, again, they gave him free reign and he could kill off anybody he wanted to kill off.
Killed most of them.
Yeah. So, but we do have Weasel, played by Sean Gunn.
Oh, Weasel.
I just think about the thing breathing.
That was fucking scary at the end when it comes back alive. You could just make a movie about it, like fucking killing like kids in the forest and shit in the jungle.
It's funny. We were watching it. You know, they talk about Weasel or whatever, and it's like, yeah, he murdered like, what do they say, like 15 children
27
or something?
kids, I think.
27 children. So, and it's like, you know, when he's drowning in the water, I'm like, oh no, Weasel. And I stopped for a second. I'm like, why the hell do I feel bad for this thing? It kills children. But yeah, when it gets up and like runs off into the woods at the end, it's like, oh shit. Like some people, anybody who wasn't already like fucked up by Starro is gonna get it from this fucking thing.
The starfish pussy. How about that? Did you like that?
Can we talk about Pete Davidson's character as the stand-in for Jared Leto's Joker, because they look the same but without makeup?
Yeah, so we can talk about Pete Davidson. He's also part of this first team. His character's actual name is Gaius Greaves. Or no, sorry, that's wrong. That's the thinker. His name is Richard Dick Hertz, known as Blackguard. He is basically just a mercenary. That's what his character is.
Easily convinced of things is what I read on Wikipedia, I think. That's why he was like, hey guys, I'm the one that called you.
Yeah, so you get the idea. You find out pretty quick that, like, yeah, he called these people with the idea that he was going to get some kind of protection from them, but they blow his face off. So he is actually the first death in the movie, because, you know, like we talked about, you're led to believe that Weasel dies, but he's not actually dead. Which, if you notice, whenever, like, you know, they have like the boxes open in the command center with like the switches to blow their heads off if they try to run or anything.
Yeah.
And Weasel's light doesn't go out.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And the same thing happens later with Peacemaker, after you think that he's been killed, but they show the box open and, you know, you see like Bloodsport and Harley Quinn and Peacekeeper's light is still on.
Whoa, dude, this movie has layers. It's like fucking.
It's like an onion.
It's like a Stanley Kubrick movie. There's shit in the background that's going on.
But other than talking about Pete Davidson and how he looks like the Joker without makeup, is there anything else we really want to say about that character?
I don't like his face. And I don't mean it because I know he has a disease that makes his face look sick.
Pete Davidson's the really old shitty guy, right?
No,
No, that's somebody else.
Pete Davidson's the guy that walks out on the beach like, "Hey guys, I called you."
Oh,
He
yeah,
looks like-
he was like hardly a thing. Like
He's the one that when Idris Elba is like scrubbing the floor, like he walks by and I think he's got like toilet paper stuck to his shoe or something.
Yeah, and he's like, "Here, pick this,
Yeah.
Pick this big pussy.
piece of shit."
So
Look at this photograph. Hold on.
another member of the first team is the actor Flula Borg, plays Gunther Braun, or Javelin as his villain name is known. He is a former Olympic athlete who wields javelins as weapons.
I thought he did music in his car too.
What?
Doesn't he do like music in his car? You know?
I don't
No.
know.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
I don't know.
You talking about the actor?
Yeah.
The only thing I know Flula Borg from is Pitch Perfect 2. And he's like friends with Conan, so he's on Conan a lot, and he's hilarious whenever he's being interviewed by Conan.
But he also does music in his car.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I don't know. Lauren said something about it, so.
But
Look, I'm just repeating what I heard.
he doesn't have a lot of moments either. When they're on the chopper, he's talking to Harley Quinn, and Harley Quinn talks about how like sexy his accent is,
He goes,
yeah.
which he's German, and she says like Americans don't have accents, but obviously she's got a very heavy accent herself. When he dies, he is bleeding out, and Harley Quinn runs over to him, or I guess she ends up next to him. She doesn't run to him, but she ends up next to him, and he gives her the javelin, which I thought was pretty funny because he's like, wield this for, and then dies, and she's just like, for what? What am I wielding it for? But yeah, do you either of you have anything to say about javelin?
No.
Okay.
Not really.
He's German, and his accent makes me laugh. And he does music in his car.
So there's also another member of that first team. The actor's name is Mei Ling. I'm not sure how to pronounce the last name because it's literally just NG. But she plays Mongol, which she's not really in the movie much at all. She's kind of muscular. She's orange.
Oh yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, she gets killed, obviously during that first battle. Nathan Fillion is in the movie. He plays TDK.
Oh yeah. Fire fucking fly. Yeah.
He plays TDK, and they kind of ask him, they kind of tease him on the chopper about his name, like asking him what it stands for, and he just says, TDK or whatever. That's just all it is, and it turns out that it actually stands for the Detachable Kid. And you see him detach his arms, and the arms fly out, start slapping people around.
What if he could detach his head and suck his own dick?
That shit was so stupid.
It
was so goofy. Like his arms just like bah, 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 bah.
Yeah, they're
He's
just like slapping him
people.
around. And then
I'm
like
like,
they're shooting his arms later, and he's on the ground like screaming and like writhing in pain.
Fucking yeah.
Also in this group is Michael Rooker, who's actually, I think the movie opens with Michael Rooker.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I figure that's what you're talking about when you said the old dusty son of a bitch, whatever you said.
It opens to Johnny Cash.
He kills that bird, which is fucked up.
I don't understand like the fake bird violence in these movies.
Yeah.
What do they have against birds? What is the fucking
I just
deal?
don't. I personally don't like violence against animals in movies. I understand
Yeah.
like if you have to use the animal
Unless they're
getting killed
snakes.
for or spiders. But if you have to kill a fucking animal to like get a audience's reaction out of something like, oh, the bird got killed, or that's kind of fucked up, you're just very poor writing at that part because I don't need that. Look, animals die in real life. I don't need that in a fucking.
My
fake
least
movie.
favorite part of The Last Crusade is when Indiana Jones steps on that rat in that cave, and it really pisses me off.
Are you lying?
No, he steps on a rat, and they even like added in a sound effect with the rat goes.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
I don't like
That-
animals.
I mean,
that's
he
why-
doesn't
that's
like
why I hate-
hurt it because it still just runs away. But he puts his foot on it.
That's why I hate like in
Put your foot
horror
on it,
movies.
do it.
That's why I hate in horror movies, like when it opens and it shows like a family and like there's a dog. It's like fuck. Like I know that dog's gonna die at some point in this movie.
Yeah, it usually chases after something and then gets killed. And they're like, "Where'd,
Yeah.
I
where'd
don't fucking
Fido?"
need that. I mean, you see that in real fucking life. I don't want to see an animal die in a
Right.
fucking movie.
Yeah,
I go to a
agree.
movie to be entertained, not to be reminded of real life.
This is how.
So that's
But-
you remind me. And my girlfriend Savannah loves birds, so she didn't really like those things. It wasn't
Yeah.
like she was crying or anything, but she didn't
Yeah. Well,
particularly like.
She
that.
said, "Grr."
so his villain name in the movie is
Demon
Savant.
in the sack.
He's just a combat and weapons expert, and he actually, when they get to the beach, he panics and runs, and it's interesting because they've spent all this time like kind of building him up as like this this hard ass type character, and then he's the only one to like run away
Pussies
from the
out,
battle.
yeah.
And they blow his head off. After the battle on the beach, I don't know if you all caught this, but a bird lands on his head and starts like pecking at his head.
Captain Boomerang. Let's get to him. That was
Okay,
a highly
that's
contentious.
literally the next character I was going to bring up because
Okay, that's a highly contentious part of the Star Wars episode that we did 2 episodes ago. That I was like, he didn't die. You beat, like I was really stupid. And the funny part was, when the whole fight scene was happening, I had to go poo. So I went to the bathroom, which is like right next to my room. I could still hear the action. I could hear people dying, and Savannah was watching it. I missed Captain Boomerang dying. So this is where we flip arguments, and you say, no, he's actually dead. And I go, no, he's alive because I didn't see him get killed.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're just completely opposite where we were in the Star Wars episode, Cody.
What were you guys arguing about?
Changed my
last time?
mind. Hold on.
we
I got my
were
cup of coffee,
arguing
changed my mind.
because Lance thought that
He's
Captain
a fucking
Boomerang
idiot and
died
didn't know Cooper. I thought he died.
That he
Yeah.
died in the last fucking
in the
Suicide
last
Squad.
Suicide Squad. Yeah, because what happens in the last Suicide Squad is
Stays
when
in the last Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter now.
when they're walking in the street, Captain Boomerang talks to Slipknot and convinces him that they should like run off and escape, and Slipknot tries to run and his head is blown off, and then
I'm sorry,
they
I just keep thinking about duality. I push my fingers into my eyes.
but they catch Captain Boomerang and he's just like, all right, and then like he keeps on going with them. So I think that's where the confusion comes from, because he does attempt to run off, but they grab him before he's actually able to do anything.
Grab him.
And he actually dies in this movie, right?
Yeah, he does die in this. Captain Boomerang dies in this movie. There's like the chopper, I think, gets shot down or something.
Yeah,
and
it
the
crushes
blades-
him, and he has his boomerang holding up out of the wreckage, and his like
Yeah.
hands all bloody and shit.
Okay, so he actually died. Now, real quick, Cody, before we get any further, because we're going to start talking about like Rick Flag and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
does this movie is the original Suicide Squad movie, Suicide Squad, is it no longer canon, and this just kind of ignores that?
It is canon. So it doesn't. For some reason, I remember them mentioning that original mission like briefly, but it's nothing like they really linger on. And the fact that like Harley Quinn, when she sees like Rick Flag and Captain Boomerang, like she's very like friendly with them, like she knows who they are, but doesn't really act that way with anyone else. And obviously those are the 3 returning squad members from the first movie.
Squad.
And
What's up,
the
squad?
only other returning character is Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, but we'll get to her later.
Yeah.
But that's the only real indication. I think they purposely tried to like be like, all right, you don't need to see the first movie to understand what's going on in this movie.
Yeah, I get that too. I just think it's what DC's doing is weird with the movies. It's like, okay, this is a sequel, but it's also kind of like erasing the first movie. But then you
Yeah.
have like the Batman coming out, which we're both excited for, but that's its
It's
own Earth.
Yeah,
And then you have like Joker, which they for some reason, even though that was a one-shot deal, is like, no, that's on Earth 2. Like, I don't
Yeah.
fucking care about your multiverse bullshit.
That's
right
on.
now.
No, that's on Earth
and,
69.
And it's very possible that the Flash is going to reset the DCEU anyway, which is also kind of odd if they end up doing that because.
Oh, what? Say that again. I missed you. What'd you say?
So people have a theory that the Flash movie is going to reset the universe because it's going to be the Flashpoint storyline, where
Yes, which I can't wait for.
yeah, I mean and we already know that like Michael Keaton's coming back as his Batman and Ben Affleck is coming back as his Batman.
Maybe
so.
Christian Bale will make a spot scene.
And maybe they'll dig up Christopher Reeve and throw him in there as Superman.
Oh my God!
They should put Adam
I mean, it would be cool. Like it would be cool. Like obviously Christopher Reeve has passed away, but they do have
to dig up his body and
they do have what's his name, Brandon
Lloyd.
No, Brandon Roush or something like that. The guy who played Superman in
yeah,
Superman
he came in
Returns.
for that the multiverse
Yeah,
for the TV show.
And then I know that they got Tom Welling to play Clark in that as well, where it was pretty much just him like chopping wood. It's like, all right, what the fuck, but whatever. I'm interested to see if Flashpoint, but it's hard to say if the Flashpoint thing is going to reset the universe entirely or reset parts of it, because they are doing Shazam 2 is coming out after that, and it is a direct sequel to the first Shazam, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom or whatever the fuck it's called is coming out after the Flash. So we'll see what happens. But obviously there is going to be like a multiverse element to the Flash movie.
I think they're going to like it's erasing Ben Affleck. This is Ben Affleck's last performance as Batman.
Yeah,
and it's probably going to erase Henry Cavill because Henry Cavill's going to be in it too.
Yeah.
So they've leaked that like he was on set for the Flash movie. Somebody did.
Right. Yeah.
So it's
that only makes sense, but
at least they're getting a goodbye. It's not like they're just getting ignored. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this movie, I was just kind of curious how it like fit with Suicide Squad. Like, okay, obviously, it's acknowledging them and it's a lot prettier colors and shit like that. I didn't see a scene or a sentence that acknowledged the first movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just more you got to picking up on like the hints of it. It's not anything direct. It's not like no one ever said like it's like that time we took out that crazy witch or whatever.
It's like that time in Suicide Squad, the movie from 2016.
It's like that time when
people
Deadshot
like to call
was
it
with
Studio Squad now.
Studio Squad. Oh God.
Just because it's the studio's movie.
Yeah. So back to the cast because we do have a long list of the cast to go through. The next member of the squad of this first group is Joel Kinnaman as Colonel Rick Flag. He
comes back from the first movie.
He comes back from the first movie.
Woo!
Now he does have a prominent role in this film, as he is one of the very few characters who doesn't die on the beach in the beginning. But he does die in the film later on. He's killed by
I was surprised they killed him.
Yeah, I actually was too. I thought that he was going to make it to the end, but
John Cena.
And they made it very clear that he is dead by showing the Mortal Kombat X-ray move of that
into his heart.
Yeah, the thing being shoved into his heart. So,
shot through the heart, and you're to blame.
You give
love
supervillains a bad name.
Bad boner.
Yeah. There you go.
But I personally don't really care about Rick Flag one way or the other. He's, to me, one of the least interesting.
He's very milquetoast America guy.
Yeah, but he's actually funnier in this movie than he was the first one.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Because in the first one, he was very much just like, I'm about the mission, and you all are criminals,
Colonel.
and screw you guys.
Colonel Henry Blake.
All about the control.
Colonel Kurtz.
I'm sorry.
Colonel Custer.
Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Tell me what is the secret herbs and spice for the chicken?
He's every colonel that's ever existed, dude.
Let's get to
Colonel
the meat
Andrew
and gravy,
Jackson. Colonel.
So
we gotta get to the best character of the movie, like now.
Abraham Lincoln was a colonel.
He's not in this movie though.
There's only one other character we need to. I do want to mention something about. We did talk a lot about Harley Quinn already. But there's something interesting I found out actually today, that because James Gunn said in an interview, the scene where Harley Quinn is shooting up the place after she gets free, after they've captured her, and there's like flowers shooting out everywhere, and James Gunn said that he actually drew inspiration from Lollipop Chainsaw, the video game.
Yeah.
And I know, Lance, you probably have never played Lollipop Chainsaw. I don't
No, of
know if
course
you
not.
have, Owen.
Yeah. I mean, I've
Um,
only played a little bit of it. I've never beat
I
it.
actually really love that game. It's not the greatest game in the world. It's really it's kind of mediocre, like gameplay
Didn't
wise. But
Suda
it's
51 make it or something?
yeah, Suda51 made it, and James Gunn co-wrote it. So
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know
I
that.
did not know that until today. But I thought that was cool.
I love No More Heroes, so
Yeah,
it's a Suda 51 game.
yeah, and Shadows of
Bird.
the Damned or whatever. I love.
Oh
that
yeah, I
game.
never played that, but I know people love that game.
Oh,
Like,
it's very good. But anyway, so what character are you wanting to talk about, Lance?
King fucking Shark.
Baby shark, do do
Shark,
do
shark,
do do,
shark,
baby
shark,
do, do, do,
baby
do, do, do.
baby
Cody, if I
shark,
could reach into the phone right now and choke
mommy
you,
shark,
I
shark,
would.
shark, shark,
There was a
shark,
clip that went around
shark,
after
shark.
like the first full trailer was released, and it was a montage of King Shark from the trailer, but it had the Baby Shark music over it. And I
No,
think I've watched that. I think I've watched that clip like 100 times.
You ruined your brain, bro. Your brain's mashed potatoes
Let's
now.
let's talk about who is King Shark though.
Do the mashed potato.
Sylvester Stallone.
Rambo and Rocky him motherfucking self, baby.
And apparently, it actually was not difficult for James Gunn to get Sylvester Stallone on board to play King Shark. He basically called him up, said, "Hey, I've got a role for you in this movie. It's not going to take too much of your time." And Sylvester Stallone's response was, "Anything for you, brother." And that was all she wrote.
Really? I wonder
King-
what his relationship is with Gunn.
I don't
Love
know.
each other.
But,
they're brothers. He said it in the thing.
King Shark is probably my favorite character in this movie.
So me and Cody can agree on some stuff. See?
My favorite character's the Ray.
What's your favorite scene with King Shark though?
Oh god, my favorite one is when they're walking and he's like nom nom, and they're like no, not nom nom. He's like nom nom, like he's like pointing at all these bodies, like if he can eat them or not.
I like the bird scene.
The bird scene.
Like they're all like doing the lookout, like coast is clear, coast is clear. He goes, bird. Over the way, and the way it echoes and all that shit's really fucking good. I actually like the chick who talks to rats too. She's kind of cute, but I like the CGI rat Sebastian a lot.
Oh, Sebastian.
Yeah.
Sabby.
So-
I don't know. I even asked you, did he die the rat? Because I was getting pissed off because I was thinking he was gonna die, and then I showed you that he actually has a Wiki page.
yeah.
The rat. So I also like
But-
Sebastian the rat. Him and King Shark.
Yeah, so speaking of Ratcatcher too, there's that great scene where like Bloodsport wakes up because Polka Dot Man gets up to go like barf up all of his colors, and he's like, oh my gosh, like, and looks over and King Shark's got Ratcatcher up like about to eat her, and
She
I don't
said it asleep too. That's the best part too. I was yawning when I said that. She's straight up asleep, like I was sleeping so good. It's like
Yeah.
millennials.
King Shark is just great, and I mean it's odd to say that because he is like he doesn't say a lot. He's just sort of like he's
A
sort
big
of
dumb
like
bastard.
yeah, he's just a big dumb bastard, but he's kind of lovable.
Groot.
And,
Dude, he's Groot.
He is kind of Groot.
I will say I actually like audibly was like no not King Shark when the tank with like the alien fish in it.
Yeah.
And they're all like attracted to him. It's like, oh, I wonder if he can like
They
attract
love him.
fish or something. And then when it breaks and they all like start biting him, I thought he was gonna die. And I was like,
then
oh,
he gets-
that was so funny. They all looked at him and they showed their teeth. He's like, no. That shit was kind of funny, but okay. King Shark's great, and I will say the main cast of this movie are very entertaining because I keep remembering like I like Polka Dot Man.
yeah.
Bloodsport's really fucking
Do you like
good.
John Cena?
Yeah.
So
I didn't think I was
let-
going to, but he actually was really good in this movie.
let's actually talk about John Cena next because I also have another.
I couldn't
fun-
see him, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I know it was weird. It was just
John
like that
Cena.
weird helmet floating around everywhere.
This shit's so stupid.
was
That's the
Marine.
fucking meme. Somebody would be a picture by themselves. Like, they took a picture of John Cena. It's so stupid.
Well, I know someone like I can't remember what it was. Someone posted a picture of John Cena in the movie, and it's like when they're in the jungle or whatever. And they're like, "Why did you just post a picture of the jungle?" It's so dumb. But John Cena, the role of Peacekeeper, James Gunn actually offered that to another professional wrestler turned actor,
The
Rock?
Stone Cold Boston.
Dave Batista.
Oh,
And Batista had to turn it down because he wanted to do Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead instead. So they've said that if there's ever a future movie in DC that James Gunn's doing, which we kind of know now there is because he does have a multiple movie deal with Warner Brothers, that Batista would be willing to play something in one of his movies.
Oh, Batista. Sorry, wrong letter. Batista was like straight up when James Gunn got fired from Disney. He was like, "I quit Disney. I'm not making another movie.
He's
I want to
like,
work with James
yeah.
Gunn."
Yeah, he said he wasn't going to do another Guardians movie if it wasn't James Gunn's Guardians.
I thought he said he wasn't going to do it because he's like insecure about his titties or some shit.
That's
No, he said that he couldn't. He said he couldn't see himself playing like superheroes forever. Or no, he said after Guardians 3, he said he's done with Drax because he said that everything can just start sagging any day now.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it was. But no, when James Gunn first got fired, Lance is right that Batista publicly said, I'm not going to do another Guardians movie if James Gunn is not involved with it. And I think he may have been the only actor that went that far. The other ones were all angry, of course, but he was the only one that basically said, I really don't give a shit about your money. I'll walk away from this.
Well, the thing is, he says that, but he's also a multimillionaire from wrestling. So it's not like, I think he lost all of his money. He's like broke now or something. But it's not like he didn't have money.
Right, yeah. I mean, I know that. I mean, it's not like he's like dirt poor and making that sort of stand. But he's just saying like, to turn down something like from Marvel, especially like in this day and age where Marvel movies just make a killing all the time, it's like, it is a bit of a statement. Or you can be like Scarlett Johansson and try to sue Disney, and then they're just like, you know what, bitch, we're done with you.
What was the deal with that shit?
Well, here's the thing I found out about. She reached out to renegotiate her deal with Disney to like include the streaming stuff because obviously that wasn't part of her deal. And I get the whole thing, like everybody wants to kind of shit on her for like doing that, but they amended their deal with The Rock for this Jungle Cruise movie he just did. So he's getting paid off the streaming as well. He amended his deal with Disney. They wouldn't reach back out to her when she reached out for amending it. So she's kind of in the right.
Yeah, I get that.
Well, not kind of in the right. I think she is in the right.
But then she was also signed on to do. They're doing a movie adaptation of another one of their theme park rides, the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, and they announced the other day that she's no longer involved in it because they've fired her from it. So it's like
She probably said they fired her, but she probably just left. Like as soon as she filed a lawsuit, it was done.
I mean, who knows?
But I think she is in the right because it is like Disney's like, well, here you're making the money off the box office, which the box office isn't going to be huge because again we're in the Delta variant of COVID.
Yeah.
So not a lot of people are going to movie theaters, but she's not getting any of the money off of the streaming service stuff. But people are spending $30 for. Alex actually bought the movie for Disney Plus, like for his family to watch, and he said it was pretty good. He offered to let me watch it, but she's not making any of that money off, and that's what she signed up for. And like I said, I do side with her because Disney's an evil corporation.
Yeah, and I think that they probably renegotiated with The Rock. And no disrespect to Scarlett Johansson, but no one is running to the theater to see a movie because it has Scarlett Johansson in it. They are going to run to see a movie because it has The Rock in it. I mean,
but at the same time, this is also Marvel, though. I know we get sidetracked on it, but Marvel does make money.
Yeah, I know
over any other movies.
And it could be that Disney also looked at it like, well, we aren't going to bother renegotiating with her because this is the last time we're going to use Black Widow in our stuff anyway. So,
which is perfectly fine, but it's just one of those things. It's like you do it for The Rock, and I understand he's like the highest grossing actor right now in Hollywood. But you can't do that to it has to be even playing field. What have we been fucking fighting?
Well, there are also other controversies that came up because
he's The Rock.
Apparently Emma Stone and Emily Blunt were also considering suing Disney for the same reason. Emma Stone being in the Cruella movie and Emily Blunt being in Jungle Cruise with the Rock. And I guess they also didn't get included in those, but I wonder if they backed out because I know about a week or so ago Emma Stone it was announced that she had signed on to make a sequel to Cruella. So it's very possible that they were just like, this isn't worth it to us, so we're just going to, not get involved in this. But
yeah, and that's just the thing, is like, you gotta be fair. I understand The Rock, but this whole thing, like, fighting for the equal rights and stuff like that, I'm not trying to get super, like, political again, but it's one of those things that's like, that's just like point in case right there. And The Rock is a phenomenal actor. He deserves it. I do think I do think he became a huge actor because people recognize him from wrestling, and they put him in the Fast and the Furious movies. A lot of people think that, like, him being in the Fast and Furious movies made it the billion-dollar franchise for each movie at that point. Whereas I think it was like the combination, and then he got a rub from the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. But yeah. But The Rock, he's going to be in Black Adam coming out next year.
Yeah, Black Adam is going to be the next DCEU movie, and I'm actually excited for that.
Are you sure it's not The Flash? Flash comes out like March, don't it?
No, so Black Adam's supposed to come out in like June or July. The Flash is supposed to come out in like September or something, and then Aquaman comes out in like December. So, but going back to Peacekeeper, so he is played by John Cena. You can't see me. Time is now. John Cena's character, he was a big surprise because
don't fucking fart on my couch. Okay, I draw the line. I can do it.
He wants it directly. He wants it directly in his mouth.
I can fucking do it. Look, all right. That's where we draw the line.
See, the best thing is I can't smell or taste
the
still.
fucking line.
I can't smell how bad it is.
I farted a little while ago, and that shit was rank. It smelled like actual shit. It smelled like I shit in my pants. And I looked up at you, and for a second I was like, "Oh no!" And then I was like, "Oh wait, never mind."
Yeah, because Cody got me sick 8 months ago. I still can't smell or taste. So.
But so John Cena, big surprise how likable the character was.
How big is his dick, too?
That has to not be his dick.
It has to not be. But Savannah, I'm sitting there like watching it, and they flash to him like 3 times, and he's in his whitey's tighties, and he's got this big hog between his legs.
He's like, I need a big dick. I need a prosthetic.
And the third time, I'm like, how big is his dick? And Savannah was just fucking cracking up. She goes, I thought you would say something.
There is a full-on cock you do get to see in the movie.
And I missed that completely. She goes, how'd you miss that cock? I'm like, I wasn't looking for it.
There is a full little dick. It's just the wiggle.
Yeah, we'll actually talk about the moment that shows up, because one of the best moments in the movie is when they're going through that camp. They're going to save Rick Flag. Or they think they're going to save Rick Flag. He doesn't actually need saving, but they're going through that camp, and like just Peacekeeper and Bloodsport are like competing to see who can get the coolest kills. And
didn't it feel like how easy they were picking them off? It's like playing like Spider-Man on easy level. It was like so simple, and nobody was reacting to somebody falling down. Or like,
that's what got me. It's like there's people like screaming, and no one else is reacting to this. One of the best moments in that was like when John Cena picks up that hatchet, and he like there's a guy laying down. He's just like chop chop chop, and like leaves it in the guy's chest or whatever.
Yeah.
John Cena, during this whole scene, like that's when you see the guy's penis. I think it's like a heavier set dude who he's like running or something, isn't he?
His dick is like
he's coming out of the tent, just like, hey, good morning type of deal.
Yeah, his dick is just straight flopping like up.
But
and
I
down.
missed that completely. I didn't see his penis. I just saw him get shot.
So at the end of that scene, there was a line that was pretty funny, but it's like Bloodsport says something to Peacekeeper about like no one cares about.
No one likes someone who bragging. He goes, yeah, but only when they're bragging about something fucking cooler.
Yeah, he's like the only when they're bragging about something that's dope as fuck, and he's like, "Damn it, you're right."
The interactions between the main team is the best part of the movie.
It's great. Shark. Yeah, I mean they're all great. Idris Elba plays Bloodsport, of course, and I love how they set up his character, and they make you kind of think oh, he's going to be just like Deadshot. He has a daughter and he cares about his daughter a lot and all that. And he criticizes her for getting caught stealing a TV watch, is what they call it. And he basically gets mad because she got caught stealing something so stupid, and tells her that next time she needs to get a lookout. Whereas Deadshot would want his daughter to actually be a good person.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite.
And Bloodsport, like, they get into a shouting match, and like he basically tells her that he doesn't even want her in the first place, and that it's all great.
Well, he still cares about her. Like,
he does, yeah,
prison, but
I don't think he did. I think he cares, but he just doesn't want the responsibility of having to worry about her.
It's kind of like being in a friends with benefit relationship versus a relationship. You're like, hey, I get all the benefits of it, but I don't have to like technically care about you.
Yeah, he gets all those benefits from his daddy.
And that worked out with Savannah.
God.
That worked out with Savannah for like, oh my god, that worked out with Savannah for like a week, and then it became like fucking serious. I'm like, yeah, I'm not like a fucking player like I thought I was. But that's how that works out.
So players. I think you should probably cut that out.
No, that's fine. Everybody who listens to this knows it's Savannah now. I ain't worried about it anymore.
So let's see. We'll talk more about the group as a whole, but eventually, they save Harley Quinn and she's brought into that group.
Ratcatcher.
Ratcatcher. I'm just trying to find her name.
Ratcatcher number 2.
Daniela Melchior.
This is her first English speaking film that she's done too. She's pretty
really.
young. Yeah.
So yeah, she does play Ratcatcher too. Do you
Who's
know
her dad?
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, baby. He's the one that directed Thor Ragnarok. He's also Korg, my favorite character of the MCU.
So yeah, she's great. I do like Ratcatcher too a lot. I didn't think I'd like when I watched the DC fandom they did last year, which they are doing again this year. So good on them. But when they were interviewing the cast for this, I was like, man, I don't like the idea of like a villain too. You know what I mean? But she is one of the best characters in the film. So we also have David.
She also looks like she could be Pete Davis's like little sister the way her makeup is.
We also have David Dastmalchian, which I'm sure I mispronounced that, as Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
Polka Dot Man got his powers.
Who plays his mom though?
I don't know who plays his mom. Do you know?
It looks like Jenna McCarthy, that white chick who does the movies.
Melissa McCarthy.
Who's Jenna McCarthy? Is she a porn star?
Oh.
Jenna McCarthy?
I don't know.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy. That's who she looked like, and those scenes, seeing his point of view, were fucking hilarious. He was like, "Where's your mom now?" Everywhere, and you just see like John Cena like his mom, and then John Cena calls him, "Listen here, Norman Bates," and I'm like, that was a great reference.
Yeah, so I think that's the entire group. Polka Dot Man, of course, his abilities, he can shoot out polka dots, and they like basically just like
destroy
incinerate anything they touch. Yeah,
it makes it sound like it's a terrible fucking like ability. Like, oh, that's really stupid. It's
like if
he actually fucking destroys shit.
Yeah, it's like hilarious. If he shut out fucking like antimatter acid or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah. And of course, the group is directed and controlled by Amanda Waller, who's played by Viola Davis. She is fantastic as Amanda Waller. I mean, she really does portray like that character of like, I really don't care about anybody else. It's only about getting the mission done at all costs. She doesn't care who dies in the process.
Getting my fucking coupons to take off. That's she reminds me of like one of those ladies who's like, no, that was supposed to take off.
Everyone who works retail will understand that.
What? It's so funny. Get the stop. Put a cork in that shit. I'm tired of this fucking bullshit.
I can't help it, man. I got so much gas.
You better fucking help it.
I don't know where it's coming from.
You better find a way to fucking quit.
Right. Yeah, I'll get it all out first. Hold on.
No, you fucking.
The
line is drawn. The line is fucking drawn in the sand, dude. There's a fucking thin line, and you're fucking about to
There's
cross
a
it.
thin line, the thin layer of denim between my ass and your hair.
Yeah, you better not fucking cross that shit. I'm getting fucking tired of it. You better take that fucking. You better take that big toe right there and put it up your ass,
It's
bro.
sneaking across the border as we speak. I can't stop it.
You better stop that fucking shit.
Oh,
Well,
Trump
fuck
did
it.
build
Let's
a
hurry
strong-
up. Let's wrap this shit up so I don't have to deal with this.
Trump
I'm
did build a
trying
strong enough
to.
wall.
So we also have the villains of the movie. The Thinker would be considered one of the villains. He's played by Peter Capaldi.
He got big ass head.
I'm trying to find
that boy got
name.
big ass head.
Starro.
So
I
Juan
think he's thinking
Diego
about the
Juan Diego Boto plays Silvio Luna, who is the dictator of Corto Maltese, the one that
wants
tries
marry
to.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, and the one that she shoots whenever he reveals his master plan, and she says something like, "I told myself that I should look for flags, or red flags, and you killing children is a pretty big red flag to me." And I had
She
to do
have sex with him too.
Yeah, she does right before that, and she says something like, "I had to do the sensible thing and murder you." And she also says, like, "Rest in peace to that beautiful beast between your legs." Oh God, that's great.
beautiful John Cena cock.
But then the dictatorship is taken over by Mateo Suarez, who's played by Joaquin Casio. Who's an absolute jerk. He kills all of Silvio's birds.
I don't understand that either. Why was that
I-
fucking?
He's like,
I
I
don't
hate these
either.
birds. These birds
don't
are
either.
fucking crazy.
And the ultimate big bad of the movie is Starro, which was pretty cool seeing Starro in here.
I mean, ultimately, Starro was still trying to conquer because I guess it's in his name. But
Yeah.
when it was dying, it would use one of this human like avatars. It was like I was happier. I was just happy floating among the stars.
Yeah, that it did kind of like at the last second kind of add this
Level of sadness
to
it.
yeah, it was like a level of empathy for Starro, and it does make sense because he was just drifting through space. U.S. astronauts basically captured him and brought him back to Earth, and then they kept him locked up for decades. So it is sad, and I think that they handle Starro pretty well. It's an interesting character to use because I think Starro's typically like a Justice League villain, because he is on that level of like threat. When you can spurt out little stars that kill and possess corpses, basically, it is a bigger threat. Now, there's a difference with this though. I think traditionally Starros, like little stars, they go after someone until they latch on. Like there's none of that. Like, in this movie they can swat them down, and once they hit the ground they're pretty much just useless.
Yeah.
Which I did get a good chuckle whenever they were trying to get on King Shark's face, and he was just kind of standing there, and they were like landing on his head and just like sliding off because he's got a big shark head, so they can't really attach to him.
Yeah, that shit was pretty good. I did like we're going through the scenes when Rick Flag got killed by Peacemaker because Peacemaker
Peacekeeper
was what
Peacekeeper.
Peacekeeper whatever.
I thought it was Peacemaker.
No, it's Peacekeeper.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah,
He's probably looking at the Wikipedia page right now.
yeah, I do have it pulled up.
Just go ahead.
No, you know what? You're right. I'm wrong. It's Peacemaker. Where the fuck did I get Peacekeeper from?
Like the UN or some shit. Like the UN Peacekeeper.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's my bad. It is Peacemaker.
Because
Yeah.
Bam!
I did remember like a bit where like one of them he says like piss taker or some shit like that.
But he, Amanda Waller commissioned him to make sure everything was destroyed, no evidence, and Rick Flag was like, "No, the people need to know." And Rick got killed, and I thought it was cool that they showed a couple scenes of them being cool with each other, but Bloodsport and Rick Flag were like good friends.
Yeah.
And fucking Bloodsport just fucking shot that really small bullet through Peacemaker's bullet. And he was just because he was mad when he found out that he killed Rick Flag, he got instantly pissed, and obviously he was about to hurt Ratcatcher, and he looked at her like kind of like a daughter-like figure for the movie at least.
Yeah. Because he was like, "You remind me of my daughter."
I don't think he sounds like that, but you're.
My daughter.
Say it one more time.
No.
But yeah, I thought he had that redeeming quality. Sorry. Yeah, I like. How do you say his name? Idris Elba.
Idris Elba. His first name is spelled Idris. Idris.
Okay, yeah, he's a very good actor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a good lead.
Yeah, I thought he was really good.
It's cool that they the only other thing he's ever done is The Office. No, I'm kidding. He was in The Office though.
Wait, when was he in The Office? Like in the British one?
No, in the American one.
When?
Well,
he was
British.
He was the boss for a while. It was when Michael decides to make his own paper company.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh gosh! Just later on, if you remember, just look up Idris Elba in The Office. Okay. But yeah, he takes over.
Dunder Mifflin.
Dunder Mifflin or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he takes over for a while Michael tries to make his own paper company.
I do remember Michael making his own paper company. I don't remember Idris.
Yeah, because they're like in like a shitty like.
Yeah, they're like in like a shitty shack, and it's like he has Pam with him or some shit.
Yeah, Pam and that fucking douchebag guy. I can't remember Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so that scene was pretty cool, and it's a nice callback to earlier in the movie where like Peacemaker and Bloodsport are arguing about who could kill who or whatever, and John Cena says something like smaller bullets, and Bloodsport actually does end up, he doesn't kill him, but he does take him out with a smaller bullet.
He gets shot like in the fucking jugular and he still lives somehow.
Yeah.
And it's funny, there's a scene where Cena's hair looked really fucking fake when it had all the mud in it. And I'm like, again, I've discussed this because Cena's had hair plugs because if you
there's this Photoshop with John Cena where they replaced Chairman Mao's face with John Cena's face, and he has like that Chairman Mao hair like with the poofy sides, and it looks really funny.
So are there any other scenes that you all want to talk about in this movie?
Any scene where they show the starfish's vagina armpits are pretty gross. I hate those.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. It's also kind of gross when Harley Quinn like cuts the eye open with the javelin, at which she suddenly realizes what she was given the javelin for, which I don't think that's why Javelin gave her the javelin, but it works. And all the rats climb up and go in the eye, and when they start
eating, it looked like they were eating a vagina and making like all the blood. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, it's so gross when like the whole it's already gross that she's inside of a giant eyeball, but like then it all starts filling up with blood. It's like, oh gosh, it's
so then like
nasty.
the blood like realistically pools inside the eye, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, there's a death we haven't talked about, and it's during the big Starro fight. Polka Man. Yeah.
I saw it coming like 1,000 yards away, like.
Yeah, whenever he started chanting like I'm a superhero, and then he just gets smashed.
Yeah, it's just the way the fucking shot was framed like wide like that, and I was like, okay, he's gonna get crushed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But still, it kind of sucks because he was
like attacking.
But it did still kind of it sucked that he got killed because it's like, oh man, he's such a likable character.
I like how the shark somehow they did it with the shark, like he has these lifeless eyes, but it made it look like he had personality anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean we've already talked about it. I can't gush enough about how much I love King Shark in this movie.
Oh, keep gushing, it's fine.
Gushing.
I'm gonna eat some of these gushers over here.
Oh.
I'm like a gusher over here.
Oh, look out!
My
she's a
ass over
gusher.
here gushing poop out.
Oh, she's a gusher. Look out!
Oh God! I almost said I'm not gonna say her name right now. Hey baby, are you a gusher? That's gonna be a nice pickup line if I ever end up being single because my girlfriend gets tired of me.
And you get pepper sprayed immediately.
Hey, baby, you a gusher?
Ah, my eyes! Ah, fuck! Ah.
Why are you pepper spraying me, damn it?
What else happened in this
Oh,
movie?
so there is that guy that's driving him around town at one point.
Oh yeah, he does. That's the fucking saddest part, bro.
It's like why is he sticking around
Milton.
with them that long? Like why is he still
What's
there?
his name though? Because
Milton. It's Milton.
Milton,
Milton,
yeah. Because Harley Quinn looks at Bloodsport and she goes, "I liked working with you, Milton." He goes, "It's not my name." And he goes, "We had like a conversation for 3.5 hours that your name is Milton," and he's just like, "No, it's not."
I love that, like, because in that scene when Milton dies and Polka Dot Man's so torn up about it, he's like, "Oh, poor Milton," or whatever. And Harley Quinn's confused as to who Milton is, and she pokes her head out and looks, and I guess she sees Bloodsport there. So it's like, oh, well, I guess he's Milton. I thought that was a nice little callback at the end whenever they do that. There is a post-credit scene in the movie.
There's 2, right?
Yes, 2.
Yeah, there is 2. One of them is setting up the Peacemaker series that's going to be on HBO Max. You find out that Peacemaker survived. They have him in like a hospital, and they're like, this guy's going to save the world or whatever.
John Cena's big break, finally.
And then the credits roll, and it's
my time is up. My time is now.
But the other end scene is the Weasel scene, right? Where he turns out he's not actually dead and wakes up and runs off into the jungle.
To
He
find
runs
children.
off so creepily too.
Oh,
His
yeah.
arms are hanging like an ape.
To find children.
He looks like a diseased ape from like the Planet of the Ape movies that came out in the last 10 years.
There's a joke that Peacemaker says. It's in the trailer, but I still got a laugh out of it when it was in the movie. But it's like him and Idris Elba are arguing, and as they do a lot in this movie. But he's like, I love liberty. If this entire island was covered in dicks, and the only way to have liberty was to eat all those dicks, I would gladly eat all those dicks for liberty, or something along those lines. And of course, and you know, it's funny. It made me laugh. And then, you know, Bloodsport says something like, "I think you just use liberty as a reason to
Eat all these dicks."
yeah, to eat all these dicks, not to kill
Men, women, and children.
yeah, men, women, and children." Which you see later, like, you know, he's like, when he tries to kill Ratcatcher, and he's like, you know, "I'm thorough," or whatever. The Suicide Squad. One other thing I wanted to note. They are freed from Amanda Waller's grasp, basically. They're freed because they have that hard drive that Peacemaker was told to destroy. The one proves that the United States were involved in conducting these experiments. That the United States was working with this dictatorship to, you know, conduct these experiments with Starro, which when they go into the lab, there's like a bunch of like fucked up things. Like there's one little star that's like pulled away from someone's face, and you see it's basically like ripped their face away. And there's the one guy that's like his legs are cut off, and
Yeah, like pretty much it's like when you're being possessed with Starro, you're dead. Like there's no
they make it clear in that setting, or in that scene.
Yeah, so you don't feel bad about them killing the fucking.
Yeah, because it's like, well, they're not people anymore. They're already once you've been grabbed by one of the starfish, you're dead.
Once
like,
you've been grabbed by the ghoulies, you're gone.
Check out Grabbed by the Ghoulies coming to an Xbox near you. Are there any other scenes that you all want to talk about from this movie?
Yeah, like I said, for me, it's just, I don't know. The movie's funny. I like all the banter and stuff like that, but it's not super memorable. I watched it a week ago, and I really am struggling to remember much about the movie. So
Okay,
that's just me. Yeah.
So I guess we can go ahead and get into our recommendations. I know we've been recording for a while now, and I'm sure everyone would like to go.
I'm fucking hungry.
Like this is the length of Man of Steel. Okay,
Lance has been feeding me farts for the last hour.
Yeah, yes, but they're not. There's not enough calories in them.
Oh, there's no protein. Though,
I just eat those motherfuckers, you know, and I'm still hungry.
He's like Kirby when he's like fucking absorbing shit.
Oh gosh. So I guess we'll start with Lance. Do you recommend this movie?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend it for at least one watch. If you're a Marvel fan, you're gonna enjoy this movie and be like, "Yeah, this is what the DC needs to be like."
Or you're
If you're
gonna
a DC
hate
fan,
it.
you might, I don't know, you might hate it, but it's just, I see just a lot of hypocrisy with Warner Brothers with this movie and the way they're treating it versus how they treated, Snyder and Ayer and stuff like that. And I'm not like, boy, you gotta give those movies credit. I'm just like, if you're giving this kind of control to Gunn, just because he's successful for Marvel, you should give all your directors this kind of control for their movie. Because obviously the decisions you're making to make the movie more profitable isn't fucking working in the first place. So why are you meddling? But yeah, I do recommend this movie for at least a one watch because I think it's a movie everybody could have fun with. And then at that point, you'll have to decide if it's something that you're like, yeah, I want to see more of this, or it was good for one time, but I'd rather it not be like Marvel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do recommend it. It was a fun watch. It just wasn't memorable for me. So
Okay. Well, what about you, Owen?
Like if you have time to waste, sure, go ahead. But if you only have,
okay,
if you have like one movie that you have to watch like in a night or something, then
make
like
it Friday the 13th, Part 6. Jason Lives.
yeah, make it Jason Goes to Heck. Jason
No,
Takes
let's
Manhattan.
not argue about that movie.
Well, then I have to
Never watched
fart.
it. Go ahead and fart. I ain't
Alright,
gonna
there
smell
we
it.
go. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Like it's an okay movie. It's not offensive. It's fun.
It's not offensive. It's like there's not a lot of racial undertones in this movie. It's
Yeah.
not offensive.
They don't. Never mind.
No, you just mean it's not like a movie. You're like, fuck. I wish I could get my 2 hours back.
Yeah, it's not like it's not a bad time. You're gonna have fun. But I would rather watch a Guardians of the Galaxy, bro. Sorry.
Is it because Chris Pratt's really good? at
So
this?
I love the lady who plays the green chick.
Gamora?
Yeah. Can we see her naked?
Ooh, okay. Well, that went down.
No,
another rabbit
all
hole.
right.
Yeah.
I do recommend this movie. I think it's a great movie. It's you're right. We've talked about it at length already, but it is very much a rated R Marvel movie. I do still think it's worth watching. It is one of the better DCEU movies. Whether or not you think it's the best, that's debatable. But I do think it is definitely worth your time if you're a DC fan or if you're a Marvel fan. Quit being a crybaby about DC doing anything that isn't Marvel, and check out this. I guess I don't know what else to say.
Are you trying to say I'm a crybaby?
No. I'm talking about like we talked earlier about like Batman versus Superman, and like a bunch of like comic book movie fans were bitching that it was too dark or whatever. And now
okay.
But anyway, so let's talk briefly about our upcoming films. We actually, for the first time in a while, have our next several movies picked out. The next movie is going to be Star Wars: The Last Jedi,
Which
for some
will be probably. I'm hoping it's going to be our most constructive, but it's also probably going to be our most negative.
Our most
episode.
destructive, you could say.
Yeah,
Destructive, and I'm hoping it's still going to be in a fun way. Like listening to critique from our Star Wars episode that we did like 2 episodes ago now, that it still was filled with a lot of information. We made a lot of good points, and it was still funny. And that's what I'm hoping with The Last Jedi. I'm probably going to watch it multiple times once to get my feelings on it, and then just to make sure I have the plot points down. And I'm going to do the best I can to just have trivia brought for the movie. What are you laughing at?
I don't know. I'm picturing the face I'm making right now.
But I don't want any outside opinions to infiltrate this episode. Like a lot of times when I do my episodes, I'll watch like other people's reviews or whatever just to get an idea. Like, okay, that sounds what I couldn't really pinpoint. I want this movie to be this episode to be a complete blank slate for everybody, and for everybody just to get their shit out because it's their therapy session.
Yeah.
And that's what The Last Jedi is going to be. It's going to be a very negative episode. I will tell you that. Hopefully, it's just still funny.
Yeah.
You know.
After The Last Jedi, we are doing Mad Max 2, correct?
The Road.
The
Warrior.
Roadhead.
Oh, what a rush.
I literally just watched Mad Max 2 the other day.
Yeah, I watched it like a few days after watching the first Mad Max.
I've
but-
never actually seen it, but I have watched a lot of Road Warrior matches.
Roadhead.
After that, we are doing The Evil Dead. That's another situation of a the and without the situation because the remake is just called Evil Dead. But we are doing The Evil Dead, the original Sam Raimi directed film. After, and then that will kick off our. I think we're gonna have 3 movies leading up to Halloween, pretty much, and that's the first of our Halloween themed episodes.
Bird.
After which, I believe, Lance, you said you want to do the 2018 Halloween movie.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about maybe I could squeeze it before it's like the new Halloween movie coming out, but it's gonna be way too late. So it's gonna be Halloween 2018. Just I can get out my frustrations with that movie and franchise too.
And then I'm sure Owen will have to take time to think of what his Halloween themed episode will be.
And when we say take time, that means over the next 4 movies, it's 2 weeks. Over the next 8 weeks, he's gonna wait
Yeah,
to
over
sign
the
off.
next 8 weeks, you'll have plenty of time to think about it. But other than that, I think that's it for this episode. If you liked the episode, please follow us on Twitter at
follow us
Filmoscopy Pod. If
Yeah,
that's
to be fair,
all,
yeah.
I guess we'll bid you adieu, and remember that King Shark is king for a reason.
Bird. It's gonna take some time to realign.